Hello, cricket fans, fellow cricket fans. Welcome to this absolutely amazing episode of Off the Pitch. This is episode number we don't care because neither do you. Now, there's a lot of conversation going on. The World Cup has reached its halfway stage, actually, a little beyond that. We know who are the laggards, we know who are the leaders, and India almost stumbled, but they didn't because they're a great team. And I can say this now because it's not lost yet. And that is today's burning question. Can India actually go all the way without a loss? So, just to put it on record, they've won 6 out of 6. To win the World Cup, they need to win 5 more. Do they have the stamina? Joining me on today's episode is Agith and Umesh. And this is a question which Ajit has raised. So let's take it to him, Ajit. Why do you think India can or can't do that?
Firmly, I believe this team can do it and actually do 11 games on the trot, right? And I firmly believe this for few reasons. Number one, leave aside all the advantages of playing at home and all of that. Somewhere there is a mindset that's going with the whole core of this team saying that let's take one game at a time, right? They are not looking at probably the semi-finals as to whom do we play in the semis. They're looking at one game at a time. And I think that's a very nice and good way to do it. And also, they are kind of doing different things right in different games, right? And say, for example, yesterday's game was all about fighting back with bowling, right? Which has probably never happened before. India was put to bat for the first time, got into a situation, your middle order is literally, top order is literally gone off, but somebody stood and grinded it out to kind of put a total to fight with. I still feel those guys who fought gave the wickets at some balls which probably didn't deserve to be they get getting out on. But then the bowling. So bowling has been consistent. Now what I want to kind of actually want to see in a game against South Africa, which is probably where I can expect this to happen, where India chases a 350 plus, you know. And if that happens, I think we're setting up for a great semi-final and a final after that. So I think yes, India can do what Australia did, and it's not that India's not done it. India's done it in 2013 Champions Trophy, where India didn't lose a single game, right from the uh, what do you call warm-up games. Champions Trophy in that India beat England in England, ended up becoming a 20 over game in the in the final. India didn't lose a single game. India won 7 games on the trot. But then let's take off maybe a Netherlands and an Afghanistan as a playoff and just move on.
ऐसे मत करो यार. Afghanistan is actually doing better than others.
Well, so then चलो पाकिस्तान समझ लो.
England is the worst performing team right now.
England does.
वो डिफेंडिंग चैंपियंस के नाम पे धब्बा है.
Correct. Absolutely.
क्या डिफेंड कर रहे हैं मालूम नहीं. Don't make me say things we can't.
We can.
Yes, but I still won't. I need to show maturity. So, India, you believe, can go all the way and win this without a loss. Now, two further very important questions. One is, will Ashwin play any role in this other than looking good on the sidelines? I mean, will he set foot on the playing area during a match as a player? Umesh?
See, of course, Ashwin is a great asset for India right now because Australia is looking good. And Ashwin has always given difficult times to Australian batsmen, especially Steve Smith. He's not in form, but he's given difficult time to Australian batsmen. If going further in tournament, Australia is really performing how they have been performing in last 2-3 games, then I guess we will have Ashwin in our squad. And obviously, Ashwin has played 2011 World Cup. He's got huge experience with him. If we really want to going forward deeper in the tournament, the business end of the tournament, if we really want to, or rather, if we really have to look at experimenting with our spin attack, then Ashwin will probably come in place of Jaddu or Kuldeep for that matter.
Okay, so Ashwin, you think will play, but and instead of who? And how do you actually solve this little inside joke which seems to be going on called Shreyas Iyer? You have to admit that his consistency today is at par with Virat Kohli. I mean, the consistency with which Virat is scoring and the consistency with which Shreyas Iyer is not is alarmingly good for both of them. Chalo, Kohli got a duck against England. It's okay. He got that duck out of the system, is what I would say. And you really wouldn't worry about Kohli given how he's generally been playing and so on. And with Shreyas Iyer, it's consistent how often his brain seems to freeze. What is the way to thaw that?
So I think this was the first time in the World Cup Kohli got a duck
First time
during
in
World
10 or
Cup.
12 innings also.
Uh,
In the last 2, 3 months. So he's been that good.
yeah, last 7 innings. Yeah, last 7, 8 innings. Yes. But Iyer, apart from that one half century that he scored, very cautious half century he scored, he's been struggling a lot to keep his wicket. He just wants to either get going from the first ball, and he's not able to connect. So yeah, he is probably struggling mentally more than actually with the technique wise, because he's a technically sound player. Definitely, there is no doubt about that.
अरे टेक्निक घर पे लेके जा यार, रन कब बनाएगा? Surya Kumar has no technique and the bugger is smashing. He had a fantastic 49, probably a match winning one yesterday.
That's what he's mentally. There is probably some mental block.
No, but you know what I feel? He isn't he been that he's been told that this is how you'll play no matter what the situation is. You know, I'm a big fan of Shreyas Iyer because right before the World Cup, I always felt there's a huge gap in the number four. He somehow brought that confidence back within me after that century hit against Australia just before the World Cup. Chalo, he, you know, the number four ka problem is with solved with Shreyas Iyer. But I think Shreyas Iyer, I had a feeling that he's been told this is how you will play. No matter what the situation is, you will counter attack or attack because there is still batting to come. So we need somebody in the middle to kind of build that impetus and just go for it. No questions asked. Because that's literally how he's been playing. And in fact, there's a swagger with which he walks out of the field and comes into the field. But boss, yeah, as they said, at the end of the day, इसकी अचार नहीं डालनी है भाई runs चाहिए or else Ishan Kishan, time for him to be brought in.
See, the problem with Ishan Kishan is that we can't have two wicket keepers, right? It will be really difficult. Then again, now that KL is settling as a good keeper. Then if you get Ishan Kishan back on the squad, he's just played one game, opener.
But Ishan Kishan hasn't kept anyways. Even he's played only as a batsman in the last few games. That switch happened in that series, that Australia series where he played a few games. He was purely as a batsman. They've set up KL Rahul to be the lead keeper for a while now.
And having said, Ishan Kishan is not a bad outfielder either. It's not that you have to kind of hide him in the field somewhere. I think he's a fantastic outfielder. He's got a great arm, and I think uh, a lot of what he does on the field kind of translates into his batting. Because for some people, it's not just I'll do my batting and I'm happy with what I've done. It's like, you know, when you start contributing in other places, so he literally becomes an all-rounder in the side, which probably can do. If one has to remember the game with Pakistan in the India-Pakistan rained-off game, I think he played a very mature innings with Hardik Pandya to take India out of trouble, if you remember. So this was exactly that's what was required of Shreyas Iyer. Rohit on sound. Rohit was playing as if he's playing on another ground, while others are struggling at one end. But Shreyas Iyer, I think, had to do a 13 or he had to do a 15, 60 balls yesterday, but bad luck.
So we don't know what happens with Shreyas Iyer. I really think it's time to now drop him, get that left-hander in. 6 matches of failure is enough of during the World Cup, not even as a lead-up, is enough trust, faith, opportunity. Uh, इतना तो किसी को नहीं मिलता है, boss. So I think it's time to sit him out and get Ishan Kishan, who potentially could at least score a little bit better. And now that we've had a very strong India focused conversation, let us also look at some of the others who are making this World Cup happen. It has been said at the beginning that this is a World Cup meant for India by Indians, and which is why the tickets opened late and the fans couldn't get visas and come. Ye sab rona dhona hai because none of the other teams know how to win in India. Let's accept that. So England more or less out. Bangladesh again staying true to form, losing to everyone that they can find on the ground. Netherlands, Afghanistan, fantastic to see their progress and at least winning a couple of games. Very good. South Africa, shockingly good. Just waiting for them to choke. Then you have Australia, New Zealand as expected, but Australia's return to form is scary. Okay, they are being very, very scary. Sri Lanka showing some signs of life at last, which is very heartening. And Pakistan being themselves again floundering. Now, if you ask me, at the top of the table, India, New Zealand, Australia, or rather India, South Africa at least seem sure to make the semis. Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan, Sri Lanka is a bit of a muddle waiting to happen. Now, by sheer experience and their abilities, I think Australia will go through. I'm seeing a pattern emerge for New Zealand where they just ran out of steam after losing to India. 4 wins on the trot, and then India just pricked their balloon. And then they lost another one to Australia. It was a very close loss, but that'll hurt more. And then you have this slightly revivalish Sri Lanka, which could be a false dawn, very honestly. They could still like just capitulate all over again. But Pakistan desperately needs a lot of results to go their way, especially in the matches they're not playing. And New Zealand, Australia, Pakistan, and maybe an outside chance of Sri Lanka, I would say, is the fight for those remaining two semi-final slots. What do you think?
India, South Africa, as I mentioned before as well, that if South Africa really want to remove that chokers tag, this is the World Cup. However, they tried really hard to lose the previous game. They really did try to like just हारना है यार नहीं मुझे नहीं जीतना है like how can I win? It's an easy one. I have to lose, and that is probably the reason why the Pakistani bowlers suddenly are getting praised that wow what a fight. Actually, not. It was it was stupidity at South Africa's side that they kept losing wicket for no good reason. It was an easy target. They could have easily won. They were cruising and suddenly started losing wicket and then went down to Keshav Maharaj. And obviously, had it not been Nawaz, the what have you done, Nawaz again? That he just becomes nervous. You don't bowl at the speed of 97 kilometers per hour at that too the same delivery on the left hand side, leg side of the batsman, and that just goes for the four.
Yeah, and when you don't have a fine leg or a deep fine leg or a square leg, deep square leg.
Yeah, yeah. That's just Nawaz for you. It just reminded me of that Harsha Bogle's "What have you done, Nawaz" line.
Yeah.
And then about the mid and bottom part of the table, I feel Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh and England should actually see if they are in top seven so that they qualify for the Champions Trophy in 2025. That should be their target now because I believe Afghanistan is looking in a really good
Hmm.
shape to get qualified for the Champions Trophy over England and Bangladesh as well.
Oh yeah, that is another battle brewing now.
Yeah, so they should be aware of the fact that only top seven teams get qualified for the Champions Trophy and at least get qualified for the Champions Trophy so you will have another ICC trophy to fight for.
Very interesting. Okay. Ajit, what's your prediction? Final four. Let's just stick with final four right now.
I think it will be India, South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia. Uh, this World Cup is not a fairy tale World Cup, right? It's a very tough World Cup. While World Cups have been played in Australia, World Cups have been played in England. Okay, let's put it this way: look at the teams who are kind of winning it, right, and winning it consistently. There are teams who are scoring 300 upwards, right? And there are bowlers who are getting teams out, the opposition teams out completely. So it is a World Cup of complete teams, not the teams that are, put together. And currently, in what we see, these four are the complete teams. And for the goodness of having some great competition ahead in the semis and finals, I always have this favorite line that I kind of say this to a lot of friends. You cannot win a World Cup without beating Australia. So if you ask me, I want India to meet Australia in the semis or the finals, but you have to beat them to be the champion. So ये वर्ल्ड कप कोई forgiving वर्ल्ड कप नहीं है. 2003 World Cup, we had Kenya in the semi-final. Come on, beat that, right? And India, That was a joke.
That was a
But
joke.
whatever.
But you're giving me too many logical answers. I don't want that answer. I want दिल वाला answer.
दिल वाला आंसर,
ये लॉजिक
नहीं नहीं, दिल वाला आंसर भी.
मजा किस में आएगा? मजा किसको देखने में आएगा?
Yeah.
या ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड टू मच बोरिंग. मजा किसको आएगा देखने में? मतलब यू वांट पाकिस्तान इन द सेमीफाइनल, राइट?
No, I don't want Pakistan. I don't want Pakistan.
अरे बट इमेजिन हाउ मच फन इट विल बी टू सी देम लूज इन द सेमीज.
नहीं, वो
डबल मजा आएगा.
हर वर्ल्ड कप में वो मौका हम लोग पाकिस्तान को सिर्फ एक बार देंगे एंड विल कीप इट लाइक दैट.
Yes, I agree.
अरे दूसरी बार भी दे दो यार सर. डबल मजा आएगा सर. सर डबल मजा ले लो सर. सर बाय वन गेट टू सर.
ये मजा मुझे नहीं चाहिए. ये मजा मैं किसी को नहीं देना चाहता.
मैं चाहता हूं ये मजा सब ले. So I think it should be India for fun's sake, okay, for fun's sake. लॉजिकली तुम्हारा सब बराबर है कि न्यूजीलैंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया एकदम तगड़ा टीम है, उनको हराने का जरूरी है, वो जीतेगा, फाइनल में आएगा, इंडिया फाइनल में जाएगा, फाइनल में ऑस्ट्रेलिया को हराएगा एंड वी विल कॉन्कर द वर्ल्ड अगेन. बट मजा कभी आएगा जब भी देर इज दिस टेम्पटेशन कि इंडिया इज प्लेइंग ऑस्ट्रेलिया इन द सेमीफाइनल, तो वो एक काटेगी टक्कर. उधर पाकिस्तान इज प्लेइंग अगेंस्ट साउथ अफ्रीका इन द दूसरा सेमीफाइनल. अंडरटोन्स, द सब स्टोरीज. कैन साउथ अफ्रीका break their semi-final jinx? Can Pakistan make the final and can it be an India-Pakistan final? Oh, that semi-final itself sounds orgasmic. Now, if, okay, say India-Pakistan make the final, वाह वाह वाह, वो भी नरेंद्र मोदी स्टेडियम में होगा कि नहीं होगा वो अलग पॉइंट है, होगा. Then you have other possibilities. Australia, South Africa, Southern Hemisphere final, वाह 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 वाह. Then you have another option, India South Africa final, South Africa का first final against India. And then there is that very highly unhopeful possibility of an Australia-Pakistan final, which is very boring. We don't want that. So other than that, I see three good possibilities if it is Australia, India, South Africa, Pakistan. मजा आएगा बॉस.
बाबर जा रहे घर पे जाने दे उसको, अच्छा से नींद नहीं आ रहा है उसको इतना टाइम.
उसको बाबर नहीं बोलने का, उसका नाम है बॉबी बादशाह जिम्बाबर.
मेरे को ना एक जेन्युइन क्वेश्चन है तुम लोग से. आई रियली वांट टू नो, how would you rate Pakistani bowling attack in general? Like, are they really great? Do you feel that they're awesome, they're mind blowing? Because I have a question.
Compared to all of these teams right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I had to rank the Pakistan bowling order 1 to 10 mein, they'll probably fall somewhere around 6 or 7, which is very unexpected for Pakistan. Then just the individual lack of match awareness is very, very shocking to me.
And I'll explain this. Pakistan playing South Africa, you got 8 wickets, you got Makram out. While everybody seems to be blaming Babar, why didn't he close in fielders? Afridi had no business to come round the wicket and to bowl into Nigidi. There's no business. You're making it easy for him. You're better off being it, kind of bowling over the wicket and put 2 slips or probably somebody even a cover or a point closing in with a helmet. Put are you saying that the Pakistani bowlers are not sharp enough to understand, hey, this is set up for me to just put 4 Yorkers and clean the bottoms off, right? But blame is on Babar ki usne nahi kara. But a bowler is not supposed to think. And that's where I feel it's a very average bowling team, right? And I said this before the India-Pakistan, it's not, it's India batting versus Pakistan batting. Bowling khatam ho gaya. Unka bowling is not as one. I think the spinners, Shadab and Nawaz, they're half spinners. Come on.
एक लेफ्ट आर्म मीडियम पेस है, एक लेफ्ट आर्म स्ट्रेट है, एक राइट आर्म स्ट्रेट है और एक राइट आर्म मेरे ख्याल से नथिंग है. But to be very honest, they don't just spin.
You just called Shaheen Shah Afridi medium pace. मतलब उधर से मिसाइल आएगा तेरे सर पे डायरेक्ट.
I was talking about Nawaz.
अच्छा वो okay.
But thank you for the great logical answers. But I was just I asked this question just for Bakchodi. All I wanted to say was, I mean, just remember 2007 World Cup ka super over.
Oh yeah.
They did not have any batsman protecting the wickets. They could not hit a single wicket. या एंड अपने यहाँ से कोई भी आके विकेट ले रहा था. मतलब रॉबिन उतप्पा आके विकेट लेके कैप निकल के जा रहा है. सहवाग bowling, he is taking like hitting wickets, and they just couldn't hit a single wicket. Like, and I mean, like, what was that?
They bowled three great test balls
They, I
just
mean, like,
outside of
they
stump,
bowled three
giving the
balls that
bats.
they were not supposed to bowl. So yeah,
Anyway, so it's barring the game awareness piece, which I feel is very, very, very much lacking. I think maybe Pakistani bowlers have not read the Indian wickets well enough. It could be because of two reasons. One, they don't visit India very often, right? Look at Bumrah. Bumrah is not that Bumrah is or Shami, right? They are rising to the occasion and they're bowling brilliantly. But what Bumrah
hmm,
did with the Stokes yesterday, with five balls,
Shami yaar, is too good. What a spell! पागल कर दिया उसने यार.
I've been watching a lot of Pakistani media talk about the Pakistani bowlers.
Hmm.
The whole conversation is ये सारे T20 bowlers हैं. They're good enough to give you 4 good overs.
Yes.
24 balls is what they can give you. They can't give you 50 good balls. So I think there's something in it when those experts say what they say. This bowling is probably a good T20 bowling, not a 50
हाँ,
over.
ये 60 बॉल नहीं डाल सकते, अच्छे 60 बॉल नहीं डाल सकते. उन लोग 24 बॉल डालेगा.
Chalo, well done, boys. The boys played well today, and let us hope that we have more listeners for this episode than we had in the past. Of course, we don't give out numbers, so you can imagine how many millions are listening to us. It's just too big a number. I don't know where to place the comma. So yeah, so thank you folks for listening. If there is anyone on the other side, please tell us if you like this, don't like this. Well, we really don't care because we'll keep doing this. We're just having too much fun, and we'll see you on the next episode of Off the Pitch. Until then, let's hope India keeps winning. Bye guys.